If you're planning on being self-employed in the UK, how much of your income do you think you need to set aside for tax? 30%? 40%? As we start this brand new decade, I'm going to try and explain to you in this video why I think there has never been a better time to set up in business. Hiya folks, welcome back and a very happy new year to each and every one of you. I hope you had an amazing festive period and managed to get a little bit of time off. Normal service on this channel is going to resume next week, but I just wanted to start the year with a little bit of information that you might find useful if you're either self-employed or you're thinking of becoming self-employed in the UK. I know a lot of people who follow this channel do run their own business. If you are a customer rather than a business owner, I would please encourage you to watch the whole of this video because I've got some really important information for you later on in this video that will hopefully result in you getting a better service from the tradespeople that you choose to employ to do work for you. I've also got 3 pleas to ask of you, one aimed at customers, one aimed at sole traders, and one aimed at the UK government. We'll come to those later on. But to start with, my focus is on those people watching who either are self-employed or who are thinking of taking the plunge into self-employment. A few weeks ago, I asked the question on the community tab on this YouTube channel as to how much tax you would pay as a self-employed person based on where you are in the world. Thanks to everyone who got back to me on that. Some amazing responses that we got, and man, it's enlightening. So I asked the question, if you were going to make £20,000 profit or have earnings of £20,000 before tax, how much tax in total would you have to pay on that in different parts of the world? £20,000 isn't a high wage in the UK at all. It's well below the average wage. It's nominally above minimum wage. I know of a lot of tradespeople earning a lot less than that, and I know of a lot of tradespeople earning a lot more than that. But I thought 20 grand was an easy number to envisage. So as a self-employed person, if you've made 20 grand after all your expenses and everything, 20 grand profit, how much tax do you think you would have to pay? Don't cheat. Pop it in the comments below, take a guess. As a proportion of your overall income, what's the percentage that you should be setting aside to pay your tax bill? And here, by the way, I'm only talking about income tax. I'm talking about basically tax and national insurance in the UK. I'm not including things like council tax or local taxes that you might have in different parts of the world. I'm not talking about VAT. I'm just talking about income tax. I'll take you through some of the responses from different parts of the world because it is very interesting. Before I start, please take these figures with a pinch of salt because I have asked a very simplistic question and I've expected 2 or 3 line answers from people. I haven't drilled down into how tax systems work in every country in the world. We'll start with Sweden and Italy. Apparently, if you live in either of these 2 countries, if you earn about 20 grand profit, you need to be setting about 40% of that aside for tax. Then we've got Poland coming in at about 30.8%, Brazil at 27.4%, Belgium at 25.7% of your income. So in other words, in Belgium, if you earn 23,500 euros, you're going to be paying about 6,051 euros in tax, and that leaves you with a take-home income of 17,449 euros, which is about 25.7%. We've then got Canada at about 19.1%, France at 15.7%, the US at 15%, and then we come to the UK. If you earn £20,000 profit in the UK, you are only going to be paying about 13.4% in income tax and national insurance. After that, we've got Ireland at 13.2%, and Australia, we came out at 2 different figures, either 10.8% or 12.7%, but this is where you get into the complexities of different tax systems around the world. Let's just assume it's at 12.7%. As I say, that doesn't include council tax or VAT, but for your 13.4%, you would end up with unlimited healthcare cover in the UK, and as long as you're paying into the system for 35 years, you would have a full state pension at the moment at the age of 67 for 13.4%. We are up there with Australia and Ireland as having one of the lowest rates of income tax in the world. And then let's take a moment to talk about VAT. I know of so many businesses who do everything they can to avoid charging their customers VAT. They're coming up with elaborate tax loopholes and running through multiple independent subcontractors just to avoid charging VAT at all. So in the world of VAT, you have a threshold at which point, once your turnover passes that threshold, you have to register and start charging customers VAT. Effectively, it makes you 20% more expensive from that point onwards. So generally speaking, for self-employed folk, the higher that threshold is for when you need to start charging VAT, the better, because from that point onwards, you're an unpaid tax collector for the government. Customers, take note that businesses don't benefit in any way from charging VAT. The only person who wins from charging VAT is the government. So here's the VAT registration thresholds for every country in the EU, including Norway and Switzerland. And I know we'll be out of the EU soon, but I just wanted to explain this to you. If you live in Finland or Greece, you're going to have to start charging customers VAT as soon as your turnover hits £8,500 a year. In the UK, the threshold is 10 times higher than that. Our current VAT registration threshold is £85,000. It's the highest VAT threshold in the EU and in the OECD. As per usual, please double check my figures, take them with a pinch of salt. I'll include my sources in the description below. But as far as I can tell from the research I've done, I think my figures are correct. My point in all of this, and I've been self-employed for about 25 years now, there has never been a better time to become self-employed in the UK. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not easy. Please don't jump into the world of self-employment and think that you're going to be rich overnight, because it doesn't work like that. But all I'm saying is that in terms of income tax, national insurance, VAT thresholds, we have it very easy compared to other countries around the world. If you run a reputable, respectable business and provide a good service, you will do well. There are some great opportunities out there. Don't rip people off, but do charge a fair rate. I've mentioned it a number of times on this channel. If you're struggling to come up with a starting hourly rate, I would personally suggest setting £30 per hour as your absolute minimum. Customers, if you are watching this thinking £30 an hour is a lot, it is not. I am still waiting for a single business who charges less than £30 an hour to send me an anonymised version of their accounts. Since I asked the question several months ago, my accounts mailbox has remained empty. I'm not saying it's not possible, I'm just saying no one's really proven it to me yet. I've certainly charged less than £30 an hour over the years, and I've learnt from my mistakes. Have a read through the comment section on the video I did about how much woodworking businesses charge, and please do try and learn from people who are experienced in running a business. £30 an hour is cheap. I think one of the problems that we've had in this country over probably the last at least 10, maybe 20 years, is that there's been this toxic mindset in the trades where people end up in a race to the bottom. People are constantly trying to outbid each other in terms of who's the cheapest, and it doesn't end well. And the results speak for themselves. You end up with poor quality work because you're desperate to get off site as quickly as possible because you need to get onto your next job so that you can start earning enough money to actually live on. Charge a decent rate in the first place, stop competing on price, do a good job, provide excellent customer service, and you will do well. And that leads me on to a message for every customer out there. Please stop thinking that every business is trying to rip you off, because by constantly going for the cheapest company, you are perpetuating the problem and you're causing good tradespeople to stop being self-employed because they can earn more by just going and working for a company. And you are going to end up paying for this over this decade, because I've never known such a shortage of skilled tradespeople in the UK. And because of that, prices are going to go up. If a business comes to you charging 30, 40, 50 pounds an hour, they are not ripping you off. They are just trying to run a successful business. Remember, if you want a bit more information about the small business side of things, you can subscribe to my Small Business Toolbox channel, where we chat a bit more about taxes and accounts and the general day-to-day running of a small business in the UK. So you're not on your own. I'm always putting out videos over there to explain everything from VAT to invoicing to business bank accounts and all sorts of other stuff that'll hopefully help you on your small business journey. So at the beginning of the video, I told you I had a few pleas to ask of you depending on whether you're a customer, a sole trader, or the government. So here goes. Customers, please stop asking for a cash discount. What you're basically saying is, please can you commit tax evasion to save me some money? It's not a great basis for a business relationship. My second plea is for all the self-employed folk out there. Please stop wasting your energy on tax evasion schemes that might end up getting you in trouble. You've got a finite amount of time to make your business work. Every hour you waste covering your tracks to avoid paying tax is an hour you could have spent developing your business to make it more profitable. As you've seen in this video, the UK tax system is pretty fair for small businesses. And finally, my plea for the government. What we really need is a period of stability. Forget about harebrained ideas such as making tax digital for self-assessment. That will be a real kick in the teeth for small business owners. Just let us get on with what we do best. I'm sure you've got enough on your plates at the minute. But for now, I am so excited about what this decade has in store. Try and relax for a couple of days. From next week, business as usual. Back to the grind. I have got so much stuff planned on this channel that I'm dying to share with you over the next couple of months. We're going to be talking a lot about fixing things to walls and different screw types and all that sort of thing. We're going to continue my workshop safety series in terms of trying to stay alive while using various power tools. We're going to be looking a lot more at new build properties, and of course, hopefully things will get moving on my next renovation project. If you are self-employed, I wish you every success with your small business. Have an amazing 2020 and catch up in the next video. Tatty bye.